Hi, the Lee Farnell here, and thanks for listening to Leading Your Best Life. Now, this podcast is especially for sales managers and salespeople and business owners when you want to know about this thing called objection handling. It's so important to build your objection handling muscles, and I want to give you some tips in this podcast and what I've learned in the last week or so about objection handling. Stay with me. Well, in the last week or so, I've had a bit of a flu and I've had to stay home and be a bit, not so much bedridden, but I've listened and I've watched a lot of podcasts and material on areas I've wanted to get better at. Now, the thing is, we say, let's turn downtime into uptime. I don't know if you've tried that when, you go, I'm sick, I'm feeling bad about myself. You go, what are you doing? Stop that ridiculous disempowering mumbo jumbo that goes on between your ears, Lee. That's what I say to myself. I don't know if you've had that situation. And I immerse myself in some great podcasts around lead generation, sales, and particularly objection handling. And some of the stuff I listened to today is just so good because, again, it reminds me of what we've done with clients. And again, Lee, you teach sales. Surely you're a superstar at it. Look, I think I'm average to above average, but I was way below average, and there's plenty way better than me. But as a result of being average and having to work super hard to get even above average, I have put so many great systems together that I've passed on to my clients. I remind myself I'm like a back pocket player in AFL football where, you've struggled hard just to get into the team, but as a person who's struggled so hard to get into the team, you've had to consciously become competent. Conscious competence versus sometimes the people that are so talented, I think of the Gary Abletts of the world, they're great players, but don't necessarily make great coaches because they aren't conscious of what they do or how they do what they do because they've just done it since the age of 8. Yet the people who've had to work super hard may not have ended up being the great players, but they are great coaches, and I see myself as that. And to a certain extent, I say I'm a bit like, there's so many people, but I'm thinking particularly Tom Brady was the last person to be recruited in the NFL at number 200 or 208 or whatever the number was, yet became the greatest of all time because he worked, did extra work in the summer, extra work. As we say, if you want to be extraordinary, do the extra. So here, in the area of sales, you and your team, and what we've found is by drilling the team on a daily basis or at minimum a weekly basis on objection handling, you build the confidence, but you actually help them move into objections, that is, deal with objection rather than back off and run away, and your conversion rate goes up. So my recommendation is you set up a range of drills, and again, we've got handouts and worksheets on this, and we've even got real play, role play practice, where you get people to practice handling the it's too expensive, mate. The price is a problem. And you want them practicing things like, look, I understand prices are concerned, but let's just explore how this investment can really generate a return on investment. Let's talk about how it can increase your sales by 46%, or let's talk about how it can generate a 3-to-1 or 10-to-1, because many of our clients have found that the value they get from this product, service, sales training far outweighs the initial cost. And that's only in the first year, let alone second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year. Does that make sense to you? I mean, we talk about also then offering a cost-benefit analysis, being able to literally get the numbers and do the maths. So if we break down the cost over time, let's break it down over a 12-month period and then work out that it actually works out at, a cup of coffee per day per salesperson. How many extra sales do you need to make to pay for a cup of coffee per day? And to tell you the truth, we've used that in a major close we did a couple of years ago. We broke it down, reduction to ridiculous, and it was, I think it worked out at 1 beer per day per employee. Taking the power out. You've got to practice handling these objections. What about the I need to think about it objection? Because it often masks underlying concerns that you haven't fully fleshed out. So that's where we talk about the Buckminster Fuller as in I get the feeling you're just not convinced about this at the moment. I get the feeling you're not comfortable about going ahead. You talk about the feeling, so you flush out the objection. Here's another one in terms of I need to think about it. Look, I completely understand. And when you say you need to think about it, is there any particular aspect of what we're talking about here that you're not so sure about? Look, I'd love to help clarify anything that might be on your mind. I completely understand. It makes complete sense that you need to think about it. So if you don't mind me asking, what specifically, what is it you need to think about so I can help you while I'm here? Because the fact of the matter is, when you're face to face, there's never a better chance, there's never a better opportunity to actually close than when you're face to face. And it's so easy, and I've been in it myself. We go, oh, okay then, all right, well look, I'll leave it with you and I'll get back to you tomorrow. Well, the moment you do that, you take the heat out of the sale, and you know very well what's going to happen. You walk out the door, they have 10 other problems, and they start to make stuff up, because there's never a better time to solve problems, answer questions, flush out and handle objections than when you're face to face. And by the way, I came across some very interesting stats here around objection handling. 64% of customers are more likely to purchase from a salesperson who addresses their objections effectively. So you address the objection effectively: objection, concern, stall, fear, excuse. You're far more likely to get the sale. And that's from Sales Performance. Interesting stats at Web Strategies as a source. But here's another one. Top sales reps respond to objections with questions over 50% of the time, compared to only 31% of average reps. So there you go. You want to get better at handling objections. Answer the objection with a question. Answer the objection with a question. Not the least of which is, if you don't mind me asking, what makes you say that? If you don't mind me asking, why would you have that problem? The why. Why would you bother? This is from 30 mind-blowing stats that'll change your way to sell from Gong. Just unbelievable that 50% of the time, top sales reps respond to objections with questions over 50% of the time, compared to only 31% of average reps. And then this one, studies show that customers who raise objections during the sales process are actually more qualified leads with a higher buying intent. So see questions as opportunities to engage and build trust. And that's from HubSpot. Look, it's so important that you, me, people on your team, you regularly practice, drill, rehearse, PDR, practice, drill, rehearse. In sport, we call it deliberate practice. Drill it, do it again, do it again, do it again. Do it so that the person can do at least 3 times, handle that objection the way you want it handled. Not just do it once and go, oh, you've done it. No, like Rick Charlesworth, the great coach, do it 10 times perfectly, then you can move on to the next thing. People go through the motions of practice. So when we talk about deliberately practicing handling objections, it's one of the most powerful, biggest return on investment things you can do. It's too expensive. I need to think about it. I'll do one more, even though I've got I put a little ebook here together on objections. If you want to get a copy of it, let me know. What about this one? Objection number 3. I'm not interested right now. And it says prospects often use this objection to end a conversation quickly without fully considering your offer. What would be one option you could use here? Look, I understand it might not seem like the right time at the moment, but let me share why this could be the ideal opportunity for you right now, especially with the way the market's going, or especially with what's going on in terms of the competition, or especially with the way interest rates are going, or give them a reason, or especially with the fact that we've actually got a limited time offer on right now. Give them a reason why now's the right time. And in fact, I remember one coach of mine, or one mentor of mine saying, not the right time, now is in fact the right time. That's exactly the reason now is the right time. And so you turn it around. Or even, here's another one, in terms of handling the I'm not interested right now objection. Look, understand, but can I ask you what's holding you back right now? Look, understanding that might help us to determine if now is truly the best time for you to move forward. You can see I'm reading that because it's just one of those things. Look, if you don't, I would put it into my own words, as in, look, understand that, but if you don't mind me asking, what specifically is holding you back right now? Because if I can understand what's holding you back, I can then drill down and answer so that you know truly if this is the best time to move forward or not. Now, in terms of timing, what we need to know is that if you're happy with the way things are, great. But what we know is that things don't stay the same over time. That if you aren't actually looking to improve 1% each day to get a compounding exponential improvement, things will deteriorate over time. Let's call it sales entropy. In the absence of doing any work on your sales system, in the absence of doing any work on your customer service system, in the absence of doing any work on training and developing your people, they will not get better, they'll get worse. It'll be atrophy, skills atrophy, performance atrophy. Otherwise, why would a football team say, let's do hand pass training again? Oh, mate, didn't we do hand pass training last week? Didn't we do goal kicking practice? Didn't we do tackling training last week? No, we do it again and again and again, so we get better and better and better. We deliberately practice so we get 1% better, 1% better, 1% better, 1% better, because the competition, you can be certain, are trying to get 1% better and to cut your lunch. So if you want to find out more about how to get better at objection handling, how to set up drills and real play, role play, so that you actually have an objection handling playbook. In fact, if you want to get a copy of this playbook I've put together, it's one of our lead magnets we have. If you want to get a copy of it, the Sales Objection Playbook, How to Overcome Any Objection with Confidence. Let me just check how many objections are there. I think there are 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 objections. The 10 objections, not the least of which number 10 is, I don't have time to implement this. I just don't have time, mate. I don't have time. Get time to get better and better objections so that you can walk into them and handle them like a jiu-jitsu black belt objection handling master, as distinct from a white belt and wondering why you're not making enough sales. Hope this helps. I certainly got to get better at it. I want to be a black belt master, not a white belt. See you next time. I'm Lee Farnell. This is Leading Your Best Life.